Morning. Good morning, everyone. I trust you're all well. I trust you're all out there. Give us a wave. Make sure you can hear and see us, please. Yes, waves are coming in. Terrific. Good,
Look at that, a
terrific.
sea.
Yeah, it's like a sea of waves.
It
Well
is.
done. I wonder if you guys could do a Mexican wave. I wonder if you could all time it. The trouble is you don't know what order you're in, do you? So, well, actually, yeah, no, it comes up a bit of a mixture sometimes. No, let's not do the Mexican wave. That was a
I don't
crazy
think that's the
idea.
best. That's not the best idea.
No, it's not. Sorry, guys. Sorry, but thanks for the wave. That's good that you can hear us. Good morning, says Gavin. Good morning, says Hannah. Hello, folks. Now, welcome to Property CEO Support Sessions. My name's Richie Clapson, as you might have guessed, and I'm here with my business partner, Mr. Ian Child.
Good morning.
Hey, so he says, good morning, look at that. Now, it's great to have you here. So what exactly are support sessions when they're at home, for those that don't know, because I'm sure some of you are new on today. Give me a wave if you're brand new. This is the first show you've ever done here. Give us, yes, there's a few. A lot of you existing, but there's a few new ones as well. So that's excellent. Good stuff. Well, these are regular 45-minute sessions where we're just trying to inject a little bit of positivity into what's happening in the world at large right now. Isn't that right, Mr. Child, sir?
It certainly is. And perhaps for those of you that are new to these support sessions, let me tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. Basically, we train people how to develop property. So even if they've perhaps not done any property development before, I think many people like that idea of doing property development, but they worry it might be a bit complex, maybe a bit tricky. So basically, our job is to give them all the support and the training that they need to do it as safely and successfully as possible. Now, what we decided to do was to run these support sessions. We want to try and help people get through what's a rather challenging time at the moment, and we know from experience that recessions create lots of opportunities. So wouldn't it be great to be able to see if we could help people find those opportunities, kind of get prepared for them. Obviously, no way that we can ignore all the storm that's going on around us, but this is really just an opportunity to kind of focus on the kind of more positive side of how we could impact our livelihoods now and kind of get out of the impending recession in the best shape possible. So that's who we are and why we're here.
Yeah, so as Ian said, we're not belittling what's going on out there. There is a lot of doom and gloom, but here, this is half full territory. Your glass is half full in here, whatever we do, whatever we say. So it's just that little bit of positivity that's going on. So, as Ian said, just trying to get you out on the other side. It doesn't matter whether you're in property or business, you're welcome here. We talk a lot about property development, but there's always a few little nuggets on anything. We're happy to take questions as always. So we've got a very, very special guest. Well, he's okay, to be fair. But you asked us to get an estate agent in. So we have a residential estate agent coming in today. Andrew Furnell from Taylor Hill & Bond's going to come on in a minute. So start getting your questions in the chat box. And some questions are coming in already. Excellent, guys.
Wow,
so start getting it there, and so we can pick them up as we want to go through. So, we'll get going in a sec. Come on in. How's your week been? I've just been thinking, because Ian and I mean, this is how we work now. So we haven't actually, I miss you, Ian. I miss you.
Great. I'm loving it, actually. I'll be honest. We should have done this a long time ago. But no, I miss you too, Rich.
That wasn't heartfelt, was it, guys? Come on. Ian, come on. Tell me about your week. Give us a high and low from your week.
Oh, high and low from my week. Well, the low point was definitely, and sorry to keep harping on about this, but was hair related and technology. Hair and technology.
Why did I ask?
The facial recognition on my phone stopped working because the hair situation has just basically got out of control. So obviously thinks the phone's been nicked by a aging hippie.
Well, when you pick your phone up, it won't recognise you because your hair's all over the shop.
Yeah. So that's not been going so well. I think the high point.
Joe says, "Ha ha."
I think the high point was watching you on social media and getting eclipsed by a 3-month-old puppy. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. So for the benefit of those that didn't see this, Richie has been doing quite a lot of stuff on social media over the last week, and our social media lady decided to put up a picture of her 3-month-old puppy Benji watching last week's support session. And I won't give you two guesses as to what was the most popular post of the week. And it didn't involve Mr. Clapton. So that was quite funny, getting eclipsed by a puppy.
I mean, the puppy's cute, but I thought I was cute, but you know, clearly not. Look, guys, we've got loads of you on today. Morning. I can't give you all a shout out, but let's get a few names as we go down. Yvonne, Yemi's on here. Buzz, Trish, Ranjit's on. Morning, Ranjit. Martin, Monica. Hello, Monica. I haven't spoke to you for some time. Trust you're well. Neelam, hello. Welcome back again today. Mansoor, Leanne, good morning. So Leanne's probably palmed the kids off on gym. Well done, Leanne. So that's good. Jonathan's on. Joe's on. Hello, Joe. Presented with Joe at the Kensington Chelsea Property Group meeting this week. Joe, what a fantastic presenter you are. So morning, Joe, to you. Jason, Jacqueline's on, so she's probably got rid of the kids as well. Jacqueline and Leanne, you've got rid of the kids. Well done. If you want, you know, with a small bribe, we could keep this going for about midday, and then you don't have to bother with the kids, so we could sort that. Hits on. I assume that's Hitan. If it's you, sir, give me a wave. I'm assuming that's Hitan, who I was speaking to yesterday. Hannah, good morning. Yes, Hitan, it is you. Excellent. Thank you. Hannah, good morning. Gavin, hello. Gavin's one of our students. Dennis, hello, mate. How are you? Good bit of banter, hopefully, for you today. Clive's on. Claudia, hello, Claudia. Good morning. I'm speaking to Claudia on Monday morning, so I look forward to that, Claudia. Chris, haven't spoken to you for some time, but it's good to keep seeing you on these webinars. I want to chat, catch up. Andy, Amit, good morning. Amit, by the way, yeah, Taylor's let me know. We'll arrange that call next week. I'm just doing my diary organisation here whilst I'm on here. Sorry about that, but yeah, all a bit of fun. There's a load of you on here today. So I've not mentioned everyone. Simon, hello there. Roma, hello there. Yeah, I've not mentioned everyone. Apologies for that. My mum's not on. That's unusual. So great stuff. A few of you are sort of saying good morning. Ed says good morning. Leanne says good morning. Yeah, good morning to you guys. Good morning, gents. Ranjit says hello there, Ranjit. Ha says Joe. That's really tickled me, says Alicia. I'm not sure what's really tickled her. It's probably the Alicia. Is that the dog thing or the hair thing? Give me a wave. Which one is it? Is the dog, Alicia, or the hair?
Maybe it's nothing to do with the show.
Hair. It's the hair one.
Okay.
See, it's the hair one. To be fair, it's a mess, isn't it? Give us a hands up if you think Ian needs a haircut. And the thing is, Ian's daughter has offered to cut his hair. Give me a hands up if you think Ian's daughter should cut his hair.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Did you know that I've worked out that the reason that they want to cut my hair is because they want to get a bit of practice before they clip the dog. Yeah. So the priorities have kind of, yeah, they're all over the place.
Good stuff. Yeah, Jacqueline says midday might try and wing it till 7 p.m. children's bedtime. Jacqueline, I'm not staying on here till 7 p.m. just so you can get out and looking after the kids. I do apologise, but that's not happening. Joe says thank you. I'm guessing that's for a little shout out we gave. Well, Joe, you're a very, very good speaker. Right, we've already got some questions coming in. Should we get Andy on straight away? Hopefully he's with us. Are you all up for Andrew straight away, everyone?
I've got a thought. Did you want to? We got a bit of we got some exciting news, didn't we?
Yes. So okay, hands up for Andy. That was good. But yeah, news. Do you want to mention it or shall I?
Go on, you do it.
Who likes a competition? I'm guessing you all do. We have a competition today. So there's one hand gone up. That's Joe. Joe likes a competition. Joe, you can take part. We have a competition today, and there will be a prize. Tell you more later. Now you're going to have to stay to the end, aren't you? Look at that. That's a bit of a fix. Right. Let's get Andy Furnell on and see if he's there. Andy, are you there? Can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear, Richie.
Excellent. Can you switch on your webcam for us, please, sir? Excellent. Excellent. There he is. Look at that. Morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
We got a
I'm very well, thank you.
We got a slight delay on Andy's signal, or that could be a delay on Andy himself. He's an older fella, and sometimes he does, you know, you ask him a question and he reacts a little bit slower. Andy, good morning. Are you well?
I'm very well indeed.
Good stuff, good stuff. Andy, I have to say, so Andrew Furnell here is from Taylor Hill and Bond. He owns, founded and owns a multi-unit estate agency, a lot of funding. Or perhaps you can tell us a bit about what you do, Andy. Go on, give us a plug for what you do.
Well, we started Taylor & Bond around about sort of 6 years ago now. We now have 5 branches throughout the South Coast. We have offices in Wickham, Warsash, Titchfield, Romsey and Parkgate. We are due to open another office in Andover. That was due to open on April the 2nd. So that's somewhat been put back on things really. We cover a multitude of things. We tend to operate within the sort of refurbishment markets, where we sell a lot of refurbishments for people who refurb property. We do a lot of new build. We have relationships with a number of developers, and generally happy to get involved with anything that you guys would require, from pricing to site assessment to anything really. So we're a multidisciplined estate agent that understands what you guys are looking to do. Pretty well, I like to think, but you never know.
Andy, I can tell you your reputation precedes you, because when we announced on Tuesday's show, or last Saturday, I can't remember which show it was. Was it Saturday or Tuesday, Ian, we mentioned that Andy coming on? I can't hear you, Ian.
Is that better?
Much better. If you mute yourself, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I think it was last Saturday. I think we mentioned Andy's name.
Andy, so we mentioned your name about coming on, and in the chat box, all we kept getting in there, people just kept writing Vesper Martini. Now,
oh dear.
Oh dear, yes, oh dear. So some people might not know Andy. I've known Andy for a while, and Ian's known Andy for a while. Yeah, if you ever get a chance to get on an evening out with Andy, leave your wallet at home, because it'll cost you a fortune in buying him Vesper Martinis. He becomes quite an interesting character after a few of those.
At least I know the quizzes and what Andy's favourite drink now. That's the main thing. So,
but I tell you, he's a happy drunk, and that's really, really good. And just as, I mean, you can't see it today. I mean, you can imagine I'm about 6 foot, but Andy's a pretty tall guy. Right, I'm not 5 foot, to be fair. And I think, if I remember rightly, Andy, in a certain hotel in London, you kept tapping me on the head and going, "Hello, Clapson, how you doing?" No,
I did indeed. It was the Vesper Martini effect, I think it was. But
good stuff. Good stuff.
It was a reenaction of the Benny Hill sort of scenario.
Yes, it was. Right, we've got a few questions coming in. I'm going to hit you with the first question, but first of all, Andy, you can tell the quality of the guests we've got on here, and how not the guests, the attendees we have, our wonderful audience. Ritesh has already said, "Richie, I have a similar shirt. Hooray for Primark." Nothing wrong with Primark, Ritesh. Nothing wrong with Primark, my friend. Okay, Andy, ready for your first question? Joe says, question for Andrew. Oh, Andrew, she's calling you.
Yeah, I must be in trouble.
Yeah, I reckon you might be. Well, it's Joe. Okay, if we have a deal that we started before lockdown, which is now waiting until things settle, how do I review the sale prices that I had in the analyzers as we go forward to reflect the market, to check my figures? So what I think Joe's really asking there, she's done a deal. She's put an offer in on a building, and she wants to know that she's got some GDV values in there for when she's going to sell it. Joe, just put in there while we're asking this question, when do you think this would drop into the market, assuming you started this? Are we talking about 18 months, 24 months? Can you just give me a quick number to give Andy a bit of a steer? So I think the question really is going to be, Andy, when Joe drops this into the market, what do we think the values are going to be? She says 18 months minimum. So in 18 months, where do you think the market will be?
What, in 18 months from now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the thing is, the market was very strong pre-corona. We had the best quarter, or the best start to a year that we've had for many years, really. And we were seeing transaction levels and stuff. So the world is going to be a different place, no doubt, when we come out the back end of it. I would hopefully say within an 18-month period, we would be potentially back to where we were pre those for the numbers. So they would potentially wouldn't have changed that much. What we're seeing on the ground at the moment, we've still got plenty of inquiries coming in. There's still plenty of activity, even though we can't actually conduct viewings. So there still seems to be an appetite out there. And it also means that lending and the liquidity isn't going to be affected. If I was erring on the cautious side and it was personally me, putting that to the market, I would readjust my numbers by about between 5 and 7.5%, just to make sure I built in some extra contingency.
Okay, so if Joe adjusted her numbers down between 5 and 7.5%, you think she'd be in a reasonable position for about 18 months as it stands today?
As it stands today, yeah.
Okay. Andy, you talked about estate agents, being on lockdown and and things. Are most estate agents working right now? What's going on out there in the market? And if you're not really working, what's the best way to try and establish a relationship right now with an agent if we can't come into your office?
Again, I'm still constantly emailing. A lot of estate agency sales staff have been furloughed currently, so a lot of their main support staff have been furloughed, and the staff that we have in looking after the people we have on the market and are mainly our managers. So the good thing at the moment is if you speak to somebody or you contact one of our branches, and it's similar for all of our competitors and other estate agents, the likelihood is you're not going to be speaking to a negotiator or a sales manager. You're going to be speaking to the branch manager, because it's the staff that have been furloughed, the sales staff underneath the manager that have been furloughed. That's the thing. So now will be a good time to get to be speaking to estate agents, because you'll be speaking to somebody who is conducting valuations or is responsible for the stock coming onto the market, and they're going to be sort of, I would say, branch manager level.
Okay.
And they have more time. This is the thing. We have more time to talk at this current moment in time, because we haven't got the sort of activity. They're going to be working from home. So they're probably a little bit more relaxed and can talk about sort of what you're looking to do. Without the general day-to-day activity and challenges that we have, you can probably have a much more controlled and interesting conversation with somebody than perhaps you would be able when things are back to normal, so to speak.
So really, now in a way, now is almost a better time to build that relationship with an agent out there, or continue the relationship that you've had. Yeah.
Definitely, and you'd be more memorable. That's the thing. Where we're not talking, that when we're having plenty of conversations at the moment, but not at the level that we are normally. So when you do go back to that client, you can, or you go back to the agent, you can say, "Do you remember we had that chat during lockdown?" And you'll be automatically more memorable than if you're sat in an office with the phones going crazy and negotiators asking you this and sales progressors asking you that. So it'll be a far more memorable and controlled conversation, in my opinion.
What about people at the moment that don't even have that relationship with you guys? So it's completely new. So someone wants to break into an estate agent. They've never met them before. They're a brand new developer. How receptive do you think, or how receptive would you be for those sort of calls as an agency and your managers, or indeed anyone else? What's your view on that?
I would, if I didn't have an existing relationship with them, I would probably go onto the website. I would look to the branch that I would wish to contact, go onto the contact page, just put a brief email, say I'm free for a 15-20 minute conversation. I'd be looking to do this, this, and this in the future. Could you please give me a call? And then the likelihood is the branch manager will contact you back with a brief précis about what you want to talk about, and you can then start to engage and build a relationship.
And you think most agents will be similar to you out there and be receptive to that?
Yes, definitely, because what we're doing is we're banking activity at the moment. So we're banking people that want valuations. We're banking people that want applicants that want to buy property. We're banking people that want to view property. So that's all we're currently doing, is banking clients, banking properties, etc. So we can then move back into, as soon as we can get back into the marketplace, we can regain that momentum we've lost quite quickly.
So for you, you're as keen as anyone, as even the rest of us, to actually have those new contacts coming in.
Absolutely, and having regular buyers, or somebody over the next 2 years, having somebody that's going to potentially do 4 projects or will buy 4 times is probably more important than somebody who's going to look to move and won't move for another 10 years. So it's these sort of relationships that you then sort of cultivate, because you know that you're going to get repeat transactions over an 18 to 24-month period, rather than just a one move over the course of a 10 or 5-year period.
Okay.
We've got a question in from Yvonne, Andy. She says, do you think virtual viewings will continue as a regular thing after the lockdown? What's your take on virtual viewings?
We're not conducting virtual viewings. That's the thing, because it's a situation where I think that it has been done to create some sort of interest in these unprecedented times. I think potentially what will happen is we will log video tours of properties in case something like this ever happens again. So we will do a video tour on instruction, which we will then hand out. But I would be very dubious about agreeing an offer for somebody who actually hasn't seen the property. That's the thing. So I think we will bank that sort of sales medium that we haven't used before, really. We've used Matterport on occasions on some of our larger houses, which is a very detailed in virtual viewing. And you can zoom in and look at what aftershave the vendor wears and stuff like that. It is literally that detailed. So it's very, but I think what we will probably do is spend an extra 15 to 20 minutes at an appointment to bank a virtual viewing through an iPad or something similar. So we have those banked up if we did go into a second lockdown. But I think as things then move out and things regain to some sort of normality over a long period of time, the virtual viewing will disappear because it's not required, really.
Two questions sort of pieced together from Raj here, Andy. To some extent we've answered part of this with Joe's thing, but I think it's worth exploring this a bit further. He says, what is your prediction in the property world over the next 2 years? And with predictions of recession, do you think that the recovery would take longer than 2 years? So you give us an idea of 18 months, 5 to 7.5%. But what about the transactions in the market, and maybe the sort of transactions over the next few years? What do you think? Let's answer that bit first of all. Do you think there's going to be any change in sort of the type of transaction? So in my opinion, I often tell new developers to go into the need market, you know, the 1, 2 bed, 3 bed properties, rather than the 4, 5 bed detached type things. Do you see any difference in the market type of transactions, the type of properties?
I think transaction levels because again, what we've done is we've started to release the pent-up demand that was caused by Brexit. And what then happened is that was starting to be released over the first quarter of 2020, but it's now been suppressed again for another 2 months, effectively. So I think we will still have transaction levels where they need to be. I think prices will potentially come back, or I think that people who have a requirement to move will be, or if they're a motivated vendor, they will be asked to what is achieved compared to the asking price may come back. So it all depends how quickly these people need to move. There is still a massive first-time buyer demand as people are starting to gain more confidence. A lot of first-time buyer is parentally assisted, so you always have the burden then if the parent isn't comfortable within the marketplace to then put their 40k in or whatever they're putting in to assist their son or daughter. But I think sort of as far as transaction levels go, I think that we haven't got a liquidity problem. That's the thing. So all this will do is slightly suppress confidence. That's the thing. So some of your aspirational people who may have had words of redundancy, etc., may not be too keen on putting 200k on their mortgage, but you'll still have a very active market from 350 below. That's the thing. So if you have a look at those sort of units and schemes with those sort of units, there will always be an outlet for them. Also, as well, you'll have a number of people that have been hit on the stock market as well because of this, so they will potentially be looking to reinvest into property because of the volatility they've just faced, and the market isn't as volatile if you've got buy-to-lets.
Yeah, yeah. And then the second part of that question, I mean, this is your opinion here. You know, with predictions of recession, do you think the recovery is going to take longer than 2 years? So, what's your opinion? We talked about with Joe earlier, 5 to 7.5% reduction in properties in the next 18 months. But what's your just personal opinion of how this is going to play out in terms of is it going to be a quick sort of V-shaped recovery, bounce back, a bit of a U, a bit of a roller coaster? What's your opinion?
Hopefully, things will get back to normal as quickly as they went wrong from a selfish point of view. But it's I think the government, the fact still remains that the housing market is the engine of the economy, and I think if they may take steps if it doesn't bounce back as quickly as they want it to. I mean, I hear that there's always lots of chatter about stamp duty holidays or stamp duty revision every time we come up to an autumn statement or a spring statement or a budget or something like that, and it hasn't happened for a while. So I think that they may potentially, if it doesn't come back as they would have hoped, use some sort of stamp duty stimulus to then work things through. And the best thing they could do is remove the 3% surcharge, because I'm sure a lot of the listeners and your guys out there, the 3% surcharge sometimes makes a refurbishment project is the straw that tips the balance on the fact of it being doable and not doable. So I think, in answer to your question, if we don't see a return within 12 to 18 months, I would sort of say 12 months, then they would add, I would imagine the government would add an additional stimulus to that.
Cool, cool.
Andy, just a quick question. Do you see people might well be looking to kind of downsize to try and boost up their cash reserves? Obviously, for a lot of people, and particularly as we roll forward with no end in sight at the moment, people's cash reserves are potentially going to be depleted. So I guess potentially people looking to downsize and maybe take some cash out of the properties that they've got.
Again, I mean, this is like a 6-week Christmas, to be honest. You see a lot of people that are looking to move once they spend time within their properties. So there is a chance that people will be very confined to their properties. If they've had to cut the lawn 15 times while they've been in lockdown, they won't be too happy with that. If they're having to keep going up and down the stairs, they're not getting any less steep than what they were before. So yeah, and again, a lot of people have their retirement planning and their reserve funds in their properties. That's the thing. I mean, if you have a look at a generation probably sort of 10 to 15 years ago, the sort of psyche was move up the property market as quickly as you can, and then use that property once it's paid off to then fund your retirement or any cash reserves you will need. So I would say on a two-pronged thing, yes, to reserve some cash, but I think you'll see more downsizers purely because they've been able to have a very good assessment of their property while they've been in it for a lockdown period, and that will cause plenty of valuations coming to the market as well.
Do you think we could add to that quite a number of divorcees?
Oh, as always, Christmas is always the best. During after Christmas, I will get so many calls. Do you do free valuations? Yes, madam. When did you decide to get divorced?
But do you think
there might be some green shoots of recovery on that front, because I heard in the news that some of the DIY stores are going to be reopening. So that there'll be a mad rush to get all those jobs done around the house that haven't been able to be done over the last month and a half.
Absolutely. I mean, after any sort of period, I mean, we do see a natural spike in separations after Christmas, talking very, very gloomily, but I think that's a Christmas thing. I don't think it's just everybody being in their house together for 2 weeks. So it's
but generally picking up on that position, there is likely to be that similar spike of divorce, unfortunate circumstances coming on, which will generate movement in the market, which can be, while some of us might be out there doing some flips at the moment or be looking at a longer term, it can obviously be only good to help regenerate the market, can it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and it's a property that has to be sold, so it will have to find its value in the market as well. If you are in that sort of situation, then so as I say, it's not going to be taken off of the market. The property then does have to be sold. Potentially, if it was bought as a refurb and it hadn't quite been completed, then there are those opportunities out there where it's being sold as a half-finished project that can offer further opportunity, really.
If let's just think at the moment there might be some people that hold properties. So some of our listeners today might have got properties which they've held, they have put in to the marketplace literally before lockdown, and they need to shift quickly because maybe they've got some development finance on it and they've got to shift quickly. So let's assume we come out of lockdown in May or partial lockdown and we're able to start getting things moving. Would you have an opinion on the sort of percentage reduction that people might expect to think on the pre-lockdown market value if you had to do let's say a 60-90 day sell?
It's one of those where I'd probably look at other ways of trying to stimulate it, really. If you could sort of add a percentage of stamp duty paid or something within that to try to limit a fire sale mentality. That's the thing. So the first thing we do would be to speak with your agent and say, right, what do we need to do to get these shifted? That's the thing. So whether it's right, let's do this sort of incentive, let's reduce it slightly so it will relaunch on Rightmove as a new listing, but let's also add some incentive as well to get the phone ringing. So I mean, it'd be interesting. I'll be back to my 5 to 7% again, 5 to 7.5% really. I don't want to quote a 10% figure because I believe that's too high. So I would say between 5 and 7.5, and then if you could work in a form of reduction to relaunch the property, but also couple that with an incentive, you're going to get the phone ringing because it's been relaunched, but you're also going to get the phone ringing again because people are going to be ringing to discuss the incentive.
Excellent. Okay. Got a question here from Sheikh Mohammed here, and he says, morning all. We're currently struggling to let a couple of properties in the city centre. I'm assuming you're talking city centre of London, Sheikh Mohammed. Just let me know where that actually is so Andy can answer that. Just type that in the box for me and I'll carry on with the question. Due to the pandemic, we've spoken with the landlord and reduced the rental price and also offered 2 weeks rent-free period for the right tenants, but still not getting any inquiries or any interest. Any advice on suggestions of what we could do to let? They're actually in Birmingham. So Sheikh Mohammed's got a couple of properties in Birmingham, which he's trying to let. Any ideas of how he could try and get them away?
It's interesting. As soon as you said that, I was just about to say offer 2 weeks rent free, so that the actual move-in money that the tenant has to pay will be less. So the upfront fees are slightly less. I mean, they seem to be going down the right route. What I would do. The only thing additionally that we would probably suggest is to offer a further reduction to a month, or have a look at some other avenues which potentially they haven't looked at. Sort of get in touch with some relocation companies, see if there's anybody relocating as far as that's concerned. The NHS do a NHS priority website where you can advertise discounts onto the NHS staff in that particular area, which again is very useful. And that's it really. We will just be trying not just to wait for leads to be coming in via Rightmove or Zoopla. Let's try and put those properties out there, or speak to large employers within the area, the NHS, and just try and grab some stimulus because they're vacant, they're ready to go. If somebody needs to move quickly, then they would be a very good solution for somebody.
Am I right? Just from memory, Andy, from history, used to be involved with the Birmingham market, didn't you? For some years ago.
Indeed, yes. Yeah, many moons ago.
So as a marketplace, I mean, just is that marketplace likely to, I'm just thinking of Sheikh Mohammed here, that maybe that's going to bounce back a bit quicker once the partial lockdown comes off? I mean, rather than offer too many incentives, would it be worth saying, well, actually, look, a 2-week incentive is pretty good. Just sit tight maybe for a couple of weeks. And I mean, the Birmingham market, I potentially could come back reasonably quickly. What do you think?
Absolutely, it's so we have a pent up amount of applicants that want to do stuff that we know about. This is the thing. So the thing with Rightmove and the portals, you could be on somebody's shortlist, but you don't know you're on somebody's shortlist. So the apartments could have a number of secret admirers that are ready to get in and have a look as soon as, but people will be thinking there's no point that we inquire yet, because A, they might think we're not at work, and B, the realization is they can't go and have a look physically anyway. So, as I say, it's increase some additional stimulus, but wait till, you're absolutely right in what you're saying, wait till lockdown has lifted, because you don't know what interest there is behind the scenes. We only know what interest that has been, that they've revealed themselves, really.
Okay.
Andy, we've had a question came in during the week about the infamous little black book that all estate agents have, allegedly, where they have this when a great deal comes in, they reach for the little black book and contact their preferred buyers to see if they're interested before it goes on the open market. I think the question behind that really is, any tips, and perhaps, you know, if we put the current environment to one side and maybe just make it a general, some general thoughts on how developers in particular can actually kind of establish that relationship, the right sort of relationship with an agent, so that they are front of mind when an opportunity comes up. How do you think people can put themselves in a good place there?
But the best course of, I don't know, we sort of had a look at it when I came to visit one of the workshops, is just a very controlled introduction, really. So instead of just walking into the estate agent and asking to speak to somebody regarding sales, I would ask to speak to the manager, explain what you're looking to do, book an appointment in their diary so that they've got time to speak to you about your particular vision in what you want to do, and then potentially go in there, have a chat, explain to them that you have your finance in place, you have solicitors in place, you've potentially, if you haven't done any projects, then talk about suppliers and things that you've already spoken to. I have an Howden's account, I have sort of a great sort of tiling account or a bathroom account. If you have done any previous projects, go in and show them some of the stuff that you've done before, because what you're actually doing with that estate agent is you're qualifying yourself. Rather than the estate agent having to qualify you, you are giving him all the information that he needs to say, look, here I am, this is what I've done before, my finance is in place. And estate agents are salespeople, we have targets. So if I have a deal that I need to get out the door that particular month, I will be ringing every single person, and somebody who is at the top of the list, rather than the black book situation, will be somebody that's come to me, explained what their vision is. Does it fit that vision? Yes. Can they afford it? Yes. Have they got legal representation? Yes. Do they know what they're doing? Yes. If I've got all of those 5 things ticked, then we will get you in to have a look.
Fantastic. And would you say, in terms of the follow-up, because I think one of the mistakes we see people make quite often is they do it as a one-off exercise, and they try and reach out to lots and lots of estate agents because they're looking at perhaps quite a large area, but then the contact goes cold. How often would you be recommending people get back in touch to kind of just refresh that contact?
Everything to I would say around about on a monthly basis. If you're looking over a wide range, you will have a lot of agents to contact. If you see something individually that you'd like, it may be worth just dropping them, even if it's not quite right, like this one, anything but not quite right for me, anything similar, please let me know. And again, email is a very good medium for that sort of thing, because the agent can come back to you, or the manager can come back to you when the time is right, and you can keep that relationship going. That's the thing. So we do a lot more work over email now than we perhaps did before, and it's very good for us, because you could be, if I've got Mrs. Jones, she's not completed her keys she's demanding her keys in the front office, and the solicitor, we can't get hold of them, they've gone to lunch and the money hasn't been sent yet. I am not going to have physical time to talk to you regarding your particular scenario. So email and regular, as I say, regular phone contact. And if you do need to pop in and see an agent, just a quick, are you going to be free for 15 minutes at 10 o'clock on Thursday? It's just so much better than just walking in through the front door.
Fantastic. Good advice. Good advice.
That's how to get into Andy's black book. Let's see if we can just do one more final question for Andy. You okay? You got a bit more time just to do one more question with us?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no problems at all.
Okay, so question from Ritesh. Is 5 to 7.5% buffer reasonable? Because no one knows where the market might be going, and estate agents have the responsibility to achieve the best price for the seller. Would any buffer provide reasonable service? Ritesh, just trying to understand the question. I think what Ritesh is saying there is, I guess he's saying, is that enough for us as developers to provide that buffer? I think the thing is, Ritesh, if we add that to it, and I'm just going to maybe partially answer that and bring Andy in if he's got any comments to add. This would be, my view is the question we've asked Andy today, what's your view today? Next week, it could be a different world. This is quite a fast change of pace, isn't it, Andy?
We've got a major problem. I mean, if unemployment starts to soar, then I could be talking 15% in 4 months' time, but we don't know where we're going to be in 4 months' time. That's the thing. So it's a situation where you've got to have a look at the pool of buyers. And I was discussing with this yesterday. If demand goes down because nobody in the leisure industry is looking to move, and nobody in the airline industry is looking to move, you've got huge waves of the population that now won't be looking to move because potentially their job could be at risk. So it's a situation where, looking at the activity that we've got coming in from the coal face, if you like, and people still looking to buy at the moment, and the confidence that I believe we have in the market, that's where today I'm at 7.5%. If unemployment soars, the banks start getting a bit funny, the lenders start becoming a bit funny, we could be talking double that if it doesn't go the way we hope it's going to go.
I think that's a really good answer, Andy, and I think this is the important thing here, Ritesh, to take this on board. And by the way, he said great interpretation, so we've obviously understood the question. Thank you, Ritesh. Is one of the things that we're saying at the moment, from a developer's point of view, is don't buy. You can do all your work, you can get the preparation done, but you don't offer at the moment because the market's going down. We don't know what prices we're going to get these for. From a developer's point of view, hold back. You should listen to people like Andy, constantly get that view, because if you're in touch with those estate agents, and we just talked about it, great question that Ian asked just now from someone about getting into the black book. Well, if you can get in there, you're going to build that relationship with someone like Andy, and you can have that conversation with him next week, maybe the week after, because if his opinion is changing from the information he gets, you're going to start to get into a position then where you think, okay, right, now I'm thinking of going to be offering, because I'm getting Andy's view of where it's at, or actually I'm going to constantly be offering my deal analysis, altering my deal analysis sheet on my GDVs, because Andy's now saying 10 to 12, 10 to 15. And you just need to be on it until there's a point where you get comfort to actually make an offer. Would you say it's fair enough, Andy, for a developer?
Absolutely. You can look at how grey my hair's going. That's probably another good analysis of how we are. So we are going to be in an environment that's going to be changing on a monthly basis when we come out the back of this. So it would be, use this time to build a relationship with an agent, and again, you don't always have to ask the agent you're selling through. I would always then speak to another agent who would have probably a more balanced opinion of where they are. So again, don't be fair to ask for a second opinion with somebody who's not as deeply involved. That's the thing, because you will get another opinion that may be a bit more not accurate, but again, if they have less skin in the game, then they will probably talk more candidly.
Ritesh, by the way, he said not the hair thing again, exclamation mark. And you don't need to bring up hair. Ian is enough punching me about that as it is. Guys, I think, I know there's a few questions we haven't answered. I apologise. We always try and make sure we absolutely wrap up by 11. We've just got a couple of other things. I just want to touch on something with you guys as well in a minute. Have you enjoyed Andy on? Give us a few comments in the box if you've enjoyed us getting Andy on. No, Andy, there's no comments. Oh, yeah, he was rubbish. Don't get him back again. The most boring estate agent I've ever met. Oh no, this is all from your partner, Andy.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Yes, thank you so much for your time. Yes, really useful. Great, thank you. Excellent, fantastic. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Andy, they look like they love you. Good information. Blimey. So people seem to think you know what you're talking about. Great advice, says Sheikh Mohammed. Andy's contact. Yes, Ritesh, Andy's contact details. Andy, just can you give us the name of your company and the best details to contact you on, and then we will put them in the show notes on YouTube. Andy, can you just say?
Yeah, but it's Andy Furnell, Taylor Hill and Bond estate agents. My mobile number is 07798 881488, which is the main switchboard number for the company at the moment. And email is andrew@taylorhillandbond, all words.co.uk.
Can you just say that one more time, because people might not have grabbed a pen?
It's my Andrew Furnell from Taylor Hill and Bond, and it's my mobile number is 07798 881488, and my email address is andrew@taylorhillandbond.co.uk, and that's all words.
Great stuff. Really helpful. Thank you, says Alicia, smiley face. There is one more question, Andy, that Chris has put in. I need to ask you. Very observant, Chris. Very good. Chris says, where has all the wine gone from your wine rack, Andy?
Yeah. Well, I only moved in on Friday, so I'm actually going to go and try and stock it up later on this afternoon. So it's everyone's going to think I'm a crazy alcoholic by the Vespa Marty.
No, not at all. Not at all. Good stuff. Lies, says Chris. Lies. Excellent. Right, we're going to let Andy go, and then we're going to cover a few of us. Andy, thank you for coming on. Much appreciated, and we'll catch you very soon.
Cheers, Andy. Take care.
Oh, we got rid of him. He was a waste of time, wasn't he, guys? I've known him for some years. He's really, I mean, great. Andy's given you his mobile number. I mean, that's unusual. I mean, he is the CEO of that company, and for him to give you his mobile number, that I was well, crazy. Guys, hound him completely over the whole weekend. But no, that's really good that he's given you out his personal details. He's a really helpful guy. He's often super busy, so we're really pleased that he's come on here today. And don't be surprised if he puts you in touch with one of his other managers, because he is the CEO of that organization. But you know, he will try and deal with you and help you as much as he can. So that's really good. I wanted to touch on something and just give you a quick couple of minutes of something, because I think this would be really useful. Tell me if this would be worth doing. I did a presentation yesterday. Some of you I know might have seen it. You might have been on a webinar that I was on about risks in development right now. Just give us a quick wave if you want me to do that for 5 minutes. Yes, there's a few of you. Excellent. Right, we'll try not to keep you. So when I say wave, some people type in yes. Leanne's written yes. Leanne, you've got to learn to wave. You've got to learn to wave, Leanne.
Do you want to give a quick lesson on how to wave?
No, not really. They've got to learn it. They've got to learn it. There's a box down the bottom. You've got to tick it. If you don't know how to wave, then really, I mean, you go away and learn it for next time, for Tuesday. Learn how to wave for Tuesday. Okay.
Wave practice on Tuesday. Excellent.
I'll just give you a very, very quick few pointers on things that I was talking about. She said she'll learn it for Tuesday. Thank you, Leanne. It is about a few risks that I saw in development right now. Okay, this isn't risks in development overall. This is right now. So the first one is that you overpay for an opportunity. That's your biggest risk at the moment, is you overpay for an opportunity. There's always this been saying, you make your money when you buy. That's when you make your profit, not when you sell. There is some suggestion at the moment that land values have gone up by 5%. Actually, it was a solicitor I was talking to just recently this week. I was actually interviewed by a solicitor who told me that. So be very careful of that. but there's going to be a lot of opportunity coming into the market. There's going to be more stuff coming to the market, more office opportunities, more industrial, more retail opportunities is coming in, potentially more enhanced permitted development rights coming in. Do not buy now, okay? Do not buy now. Someone told me yesterday, I was on a phone call with someone and they said they were told that they should be buying now. No, the market is potentially going down. You know, just think back to the old days when we used to go out shopping. Do you remember that? We used to go out for meals and all sorts of things. And you used to go, and this is going back a few years, you know, there was only one sale on a year, which was the January sales. Weren't they the good old days, you know? They used to fight for stuff, you know. That's fighting, by the way, not just rocking. That's me fighting. So you go to the January sales and you know, you wouldn't buy anything in December. You wouldn't buy a new shirt from Primark like mine is, which I was commented on earlier. But to be fair, it's not from Primark, but it could be, because nothing wrong with Primark. And I'll have to be buying in Primark soon, the way this thing's all going. But
this is going to, just to be clear, Richard, this is going to last 5 minutes, or is it you're going to do 5 minutes on your shirt?
I know, I'll crack on. Stop interrupting. So the thing is that you know, you wouldn't have bought in December. You'd wait, because that shirt would have gone down 30 quid. Don't buy at the moment, because things could be going down. So be very, very careful of that. There is another risk at the moment in development. Where are construction costs going? They're going up? Are they leveling? Are they going down? We don't know. Monitor it. Keep talking to your project managers. We had a project manager quantity surveyor in last Saturday, Dan Stiles, some really good advice to him. You need to build those relationships and keep in touch with them and see where that marketplace is going, okay? And gross development values, we're talking about it today. What will they do? That's another risk, difficult to estimate, as Andy's been talking about, but always absolutely work on your 20% GDV, because if they go down 5%, they go down 7.5%, even if they went down 15%, we still break even and make 5% if we were doing a deal shortly. So you've got to have the absolute minimum of 20% in your deal. Don't fudge your figures. Make sure that is in there. But the biggest risk, I think, for developers, up and coming or brand new, if you're thinking of getting into development, the biggest risk out there for you now is none of those, okay? Or if you're in development in your early stages, the biggest risk at the moment is slightly different to that. So if you're serious about getting into development, okay, now is one of the best times to get ready to get into development. This is a unique opportunity, unlike any other. With doom and gloom going on, you're probably struggling to think, but there are potentially some really significant opportunities, because after a downturn, there will absolutely 100 million% be an upturn. And that means opportunity if you are positioned. At the moment, the other unique factor is the world has stopped. Everything else has stopped out there, okay? B&Q are opening up, but the world has generally stopped. So what does that mean? Well, that actually gives you time to catch. So if you're an up-and-coming developer, or you're even brand new, obviously there's a lot of people on here we don't know in detail who you all are. We know some of you. But if you are brand new and you're thinking about getting into development, you can catch up. You can think of this as a marathon. You want to be there when they cut the tape and the gun goes off, okay? You're not going to be at the front because there's other developers there, but you don't want to be at the back. Think of the London Marathon, 30,000 people. When the front starts moving, people at the back, they're about half an hour before they even start taking a foot forward. You want to be getting yourself up there. So that means do stuff now to get ready to be at the front of that position. The opportunities are so unique. If prices go down, you can buy cheaper. If construction costs go down, potentially you'll better procure cheaper. Certainly in the medium to short term, I think is probably the case. And if values level off, you're going to make more profit than you would have done if you'd have actually done a deal 2 years ago. So it's a really interesting time. So your biggest risk now, really, your biggest risk is that you do nothing. If you do nothing, that is probably your biggest risk. Hopefully that was useful. Just put a few bits and pieces in there. Let's have a look. Ritesh says, sadly, many novice developers are listening, watching, other trainers preaching, jump in now. Yeah, you're probably right, Ritesh, but you know, you've got to think about it for the right reasons. Are people saying it for a reason just to boost their business, or are they saying it for actually the right reasons? There is a unique set of circumstances now which can give you this opportunity. And that's all we're saying. We just want to present you with the facts. Everyone, as always, will make their own minds up. So hopefully that's useful. That's just my opinion on why right now is a really, really good time. And, you know, as we said equally, for those existing developers, this is not a holiday. Get ready now, do as much work as you can. As Andy said, keep that relationship going. You know, he's saying it, you'll be more remembered. If you're a brand new developer coming in the marketplace now and you're making those relationships with those agents, then you're going to be remembered a lot more. Hopefully that's useful.
I think
Excellent.
actually, just to add to that, Rich, some of the previous stuff we've talked about as well, and some of the previous sessions about the types of opportunity, particularly things like permitted development, which is looking like that's an area that is going to have more opportunity in it rather than less. And of course, it's all focused on that small scale development, the types of project that are above the self builder but below the likes of Persimmon. You know, it's a sweet spot for us, and that's where the biggest opportunity is likely to be. So if you're new to this session, then please do check out some of the previous episodes on our YouTube channel, where we do talk about some of the opportunities that are out there that look like they're coming our way for small scale developers.
Raj says a really good solid message, guys. Thank you. No problem at all. Okay, guys, we talked about competition.
Oh yes.
We don't normally run competition. We just thought it'd be a bit of fun. Look, we started this session off a few weeks ago now, really just because, and I think some people that have been on it from the beginning, and I know some of you have from the first show that we did, I think this is about the 9th or 10th show now, we put it out there because people were struggling. There was a lot of people struggling, and they needed an outlet, somewhere where they could come and ask some questions and get a bit of momentum. And I know there's a few of you who've sent us some really kind messages outside of the show here saying it's just a great place for you to come and get some positive energy. So we want to carry this on, okay? If you guys want to, just give me a hands up if you guys want us to keep carrying this on for quite a while. Yeah, good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Lots of hands coming up. That's really good. Ritesh says wave. So the thing is, what we thought is, right, well, it shouldn't really be called support sessions. That's a bit, you know, we just put that together quickly. We think this is developed into something. We love this. This takes us quite a bit of work to put together, to get, you know, to get hold of people, get them on board. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but we really love it. And we'd like to think, Karen says, yes, please, Richie, highlight of my week. Thank you, Karen, that's brilliant. It's, you know, it's a highlight of our week. We love doing this. And the thing is, we thought, well, let's get it a better name. Let's not call it support sessions. Let's give it a name that can go on. Because if you guys keep coming back, keep registering, and if you love this, we'll just do this because we love this for as long as you keep loving it, okay? But we want to call it something different. So we want to call it Property CEO ? So we want your suggestions. So if you've got any suggestions, we'll hopefully, unless they're really bad, we'll try and choose one. And the one that we choose, and with the show that we rename from your suggestion, will get a prize. I can't guarantee it's going to be super exciting, but it will be a prize. It won't be a holiday in Italy. Don't worry about that. But it will be a super prize. Yeah, Itan says yes, it could easily be a podcast as well. Yeah, we've had a whole podcast series out there, and you know, we might continue to do the podcast. This is a bit different. This is just really upbeat, quick, boom fire, and obviously it's quite visual. So any suggestions you've got, guys, throw them in the chat box now. As someone suggested, the Ian Child show. Edward, no.
That's is that no, it's just not my mum. Just checking.
It's not your mother. It's not your mother. So, guys, anything. It could be off the wall. It could be. You know, it could be property related. It doesn't have to be a property related. No, it could be anything. It could be completely off the wall. So, any suggestions you've got, please drop them in. We'd love to hear them, and we're going to try and choose one, and there will be a prize. We'll leave the chat box open for a little while. But equally, you've got our email address. What's the best email address to put them into, Ian?
The best email address is support@propertyceo.co.uk. And if you do think of any during the course of the week, then and you join us next Tuesday, then again, by all means, you can type them into the chat next Tuesday. We'll keep it open, and so yeah, look forward to your suggestions, both serious and otherwise. I'm sure you've got some great ideas.
or private message us on Facebook, whatever way you want. Okay, guys, that's it. Sorry, we're going to probably go 1 minute over. That's it for this session. Hopefully you found it useful. To join us at our next session, please go to propertyceo.co/webinars, isn't it?
Well, as long as one of us knows. Yeah, propertyceo.co.uk/webinars. And you can register for the next session, which is Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Great stuff. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, guys. Yes, I mean, Karen says thank you. Leanne says thank you. Great, thanks. Smiley face says Jenny. Joe says really useful. Again, thank you, smiley face. The sanity session, Hitan says. Excellent, Hitan. Sheikh Mohammed says great, thanks, guys. Claudia says thank you. Great insight, says Dennis. Hopefully, Dennis, enough banter for you today. I know you'd like a bit of that, my friend. Thanks, guys, says Gavin. Thanks for another good session, exclamation mark, says Yvonne. Thank you, guys. Remember to be safe, be positive, be helpful. See you next time.
Bye.